Hello and welcome to the latest in our series of BedBiz podcasts, or as we like to call it, Musings on Mattress Matters. So we basically have a chat with people in the bed industry, whether that's manufacturers, suppliers, allied services, or in today's case, a leading independent bed retailer. So I'm delighted to welcome James Dunne, who is Operations Director at Prestige Beds. Hello, James.
Hi there. Hi.
Hi. So for those of you who aren't aware, Prestige Beds are an NBF retail champion and the current holder of the NBF Bed Retailer of the Year award for retailers with fewer than 10 stores category. So we'll start off, James. Tell us a little bit then about Prestige Beds, your history, the people, branches, that kind of thing.
Sure. So we're a third generation family business, started by my grandfather way back in 1959. So we've been in business over 60 years now. We've got 4 sites. We started with just the one in Blackburn, and then that expanded into Padiham near Burnley. And then over the last 2 or 3 decades, we've had a couple of moves. Our head office now, this is where we've been since 1990. My dad came into the business in the 80s. I think he was in his early 20s. And I started helping out on deliveries when I was about 16, sort of summer holidays, bit of extra money, and then just worked my way up. And I've been in my role now as operations director for nearly 3 years. We added Bold Street Beds, which was like a leading independent in Preston. We acquired that in 2010, and that became our sort of flagship store over on like the West Lanc side of things. So yeah, we're doing okay. Yeah, considering we're still fully a fully family business. My brother's involved now as well. Sort of on a similar sort of path to me, but doing a bit of everything, helping out in the stores as well on sales. So yeah, it's proud to be part of a family business, albeit quite hard work at times. But
yeah, I mean, I think
it's in direction.
Yeah, and I think it's great. I think when you're working in that kind of business to know the business absolutely in and out. So if you start, as you say, in the warehouse. And really get to know the products and work with the guys in the warehouse, go out on deliveries, etc.
Sure.
So you get a much better feel for the business, don't you? Really?
Yeah, definitely, and that's where my sort of understanding and knowledge, everything has just been purely through experience. And I mean, we've got a high sort of employee retention, so a lot of the guys who are still in the warehouse were there when I was working down there with them. So you kind of earn that respect from them as well. They see that you've got a strong work ethic, and you've sort of worked your way up to to where we are now, and still have really good relationships with them. But it helps the general understanding of the business, certainly from the base up, which is I think really crucial.
And when you're fully operational, roughly how many people are working in the business?
So there's 28 employees in total, including myself. My dad's still managing director, but sort of leaves the day-to-day running to myself. He helps out in sort of important responsibilities in the background, and he's always sort of.
Is he?
Sorry.
He writes the checks.
Yeah, well, I'm doing that now. I'm doing a lot of the payments because all the payments are online now. So I think he helps me out when he can, when I'm when I'm up to my neck in it. So, but yeah, there's I think 28 in total across the 4 stores and in the warehouse. So it's quite good size operation.
Yeah, a good size, manageable with those types of numbers. Really.
Yeah, sure.
So sort of, I mean, we just celebrated a year since we went into the first lockdown. I mean, the last year has been really, really extremely difficult for everybody, not least, bed retailers, all retailers, but obviously bed retailers that we're talking about. So how how did COVID sort of affect your business, and what did you do? How have you reacted and adapted to keep the business going?
Well, we kind of hit a complete reset, because I think like so many businesses, it was quite terrifying at first, not knowing. Well, you can't, very limited as to what we could do. Obviously, all factories closed, all our stores everything was sort of closed down in an instant. So, yeah, we just had to sort of get heads around evaluating how we sort of can operate in some capacity through the first lockdown. And we thought it might have been a few weeks, not months. So we kept a very small number of people. Virtually everyone was furloughed, bar 2 or 3 who we kept phone lines active. We kept a member of our marketing team operating to still keep things updated online and let customers know. Eventually we decided we could do deliveries to the door, but it was often a one-man delivery, so that was me or my brother. So yeah, that those first few weeks were really, really tough. And then as we sort of geared up towards reopening, it was just a case of getting the stores as sort of safe and as comfortable environments as possible for customers. We had no idea what the perception was going to be with having contact, particularly with furniture. It was scary. Are people going to come into stores and feel comfortable? But I think how we sort of the exposure that we built and the content that we created and explaining the protocol within the stores was really benefit us. And yeah, the footfall was really good when we were allowed to reopen. I mean, the cash flow was hit really hard, but we had to pull all our marketing spend. We just literally pulled the plug on everything and just started back from zero, which was good in a way, because you got to extract everything, that probably all the wastage that wasn't really working. You got to sort of test things out a little bit more, and particularly we went quite heavy with Facebook, social media, where everyone was, and we were able to engage with a lot of people that way, particularly in the Northwest.
Yeah, if one thing certainly that it would have done is allowed businesses like yourselves to really analyze the business in detail, and also lots of time to think about what you can do in the future, what you haven't been doing great, and what you can do better when you do open and what have you. So
absolutely,
the thinking time can be very valuable. So
yeah,
looking ahead then, so April the 12th on the horizon. Hooray! How's the planning going for the reopening?
Yeah, I mean, everyone's really excited and buoyant, because especially the sales team, they're just itching to sort of get back into the swing of things. So yeah, we've just been busy getting the stores ready for the last couple of weeks. It's been a nice change from what we've been doing for the most of lockdown, which is dealing with a lot of existing orders. So yeah, everyone's got a big smile on their face as it sort of crept up all of a sudden really quickly. It felt like a mile away when Boris announced that non-essential retail could reopen. So yeah, we're definitely on track. We're organised. We want all the stores to have a fresh look, and sort of hit the ground running. And hopefully the industry is really buoyant again, as it's going to be difficult for people to go on holiday still for a little while. So we want to capitalise on that. So we'll certainly be doing all we can to hope that people are still concentrating on home improvements and particularly their beds.
Yeah, let's hope so. I mean, obviously we saw the that sort of bounce back for furniture and retail. Beds and furniture in the autumn, didn't we? When people couldn't travel and what have you. And obviously it's looking likely that there's going to be restrictions on travel again for a while. So hopefully we can, in our sector, we can really make the most of it. So the usual questions on this. So what do you think makes Prestige different? What do you think you do really well that's sort of better than your competitors, and things that really make you stand out? Without giving your trade secrets away, of course.
Yeah, it's a difficult question to answer in that respect. But yeah, I think our people, our team, is really special. You know, I think you know, without sounding cliched, we are a real family business. Every member of the team, it feels like a family, and I think that resonates through the attitude and professionalism that everyone conducts with customers, and just to make the complete user customer experience such a positive one, and that I think reflects in a lot of our Trustpilot reviews. I think the high employee retention, it makes it a lot more personable for customers, because they can often come back to replace their bed, and the same salesperson will be dealing with them. And I think that's just very comforting. You know, there's that trust aspect there. So yeah, and then that goes through, you know, our delivery service. We want to make it hassle-free and really as comprehensive as possible, from, you know, taking it to the room, assembling it, taking the old one away, which is, you know, the old bed removal has been a big USP for us for a long time. I think we were one of the first to do it. So yeah, I couldn't really pinpoint one sort of area where I like to think that we're, you know, right up there and above our competition. I think the general customer experience as a whole, I think we've worked really hard on it, and we set very high standards.
Yeah, and obviously, clearly, it's working. So well done there. All businesses have areas that they are looking to improve.
Yeah.
Are there any particular areas you think that, oh yeah, you know, when we reopen on the 12th, there are some areas where we can make some gains, we can improve?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, I think we all know that e-commerce has probably moved on about between 3 and 5 years over the last 12 months, with how everyone's had to become more proficient and sort of able when it comes to purchasing online. I think people realizing the ease of that will undoubtedly increase the proportion of people who want to make purchases online purely for the convenience. I do think that there's some protection with the bed industry, that people still want to come in and try, but everyone's aware that, you know, that they're shopping around. So we're working hard on making sure our website is a lot slicker. There's plans, you know, in place at the moment with our developers and with our marketing team to really get it right. That's what we've been working on mostly through this lockdown. Warehousing and logistics as well is something else we've been using this time in this lockdown to our advantage, and getting it organized, getting new labeling and barcode systems, just to become a lot more streamlined, efficient, and eliminate, you know, any wastage, because there's very little room for it at the moment. And store improvements, we're always looking to progress. We don't want to stand still. Our second Blackburn site, we've had for 21 years now. It needs a bit of an update, especially on the frontage. So for the last 2 years, we would have done the work last year if it weren't for COVID, but we're going to build a big extension on the front. We're spending about £250,000 on that. So that's a project for, you know, for later this year. So yeah, there's a lot going on. We've identified the areas where we need to improve. We still think that there's a place for bricks and mortar, and that is still ultimately our strength. However, we want to sort of bridge the gap between e-commerce and bricks and mortar, and make our website sort of a reflection of the in-store experience a little bit more.
I mean, for example, do you know how many people might come into your store, but ultimately they end up purchasing actually via your website? Are you able to track that?
Yeah, it's not always easy. Our conversion rate is pretty high. I mean, even people who are going away, you know, to have a think, we always encourage them to sort of, if you do see anything, then come back to us. You know, we're competitive, and there's always some kind of, you know, often our service offering is what people want to what sort of closes the sale. But yeah, it's difficult to really track exactly how many people are going away and then buying online. Again, that's something that, you know, all the analytical stuff is something that I'm learning on the job, and we're trying to get better at. But yeah, we like to think when the stores are open and running properly, you know, that rate is quite low. I think because we, you know, the in-store experience is so positive.
That's good. That's good. So let's turn quickly then to sort of supplier relationships. Obviously, a key thing for being a successful retailer. So I'll give you a chance here now to give a bit of a shout out. I hate that term, but a shout out to any suppliers that you think go above and beyond the call of duty, and perhaps you could give us a few examples, as long as some of them are MBF members, I hope.
Yeah, we've probably never had a more difficult time with suppliers, and I mean they've probably never experienced a time as difficult as this. So my heart goes out to them in terms of what they've had to put up with. We've had it on the other side. We've actually dealing with, you know, the sort of end user. But I imagine they've had to put up with a lot of angry retailers with all the raw material problems. But yeah, some, you know, we have very good relationships with the likes of Millbrook, Harrison Spinks, Hypnos. You know, we have, you know, we like, you know, we sell a lot of that sort of end of the market as well. So they've been very good. We've had a long-standing relationship with Highgrove, and they've always been very good to us. And Deluxe Beds as well. They're someone we're starting to work with considerably more, and that's a relationship that's sort of blossoming. So yeah, whilst there's been some difficulties, there's, you know, there's a few names within those companies who've really gone above and beyond to help us, and averted some difficult conversations with customers, put it that way.
Good. Yeah, good to hear. Good to hear. Now, I mentioned earlier that you're a Prestige Beds is an NBF retail champion, meaning that obviously you sell predominantly NBF member brands. Now, for those sort of listening now, those retailers that aren't aware of the scheme, you can find out more if you go onto the NBF website, bedfed.org.uk, and you can actually apply to become an NBF retail champion. Okay, so have a look on the website. When you become a champion, we send out some free point of sale, and also we add you to the list of our retail champions on our new consumer-facing website, bedadvice.co.uk, where users can search for their nearest NBF retail champion. I mean, obviously, the NBF, you know, we're keen to work more closely with retailers to promote NBF member brands. Is there anything that you can think of where you'd like that we can do as the organisation, the NBF, to try and help retailers, James? Anything that we're not doing or that we could do better?
In all honesty, I think the NBF does a tremendous amount, you know, these days. And the sort of advice and the guides and all the help that's given within the website and the new Bed Advice site, the Find a Retailer page for the you know, I think the retail champion scheme is excellent. And you know, having the point of sale within the stores, it adds another talking point, and I think it adds credibility as well to, you know, to our brand and the products that we have within the stores. So yeah, I mean, if there's anything that I probably noticed that we're a direction we want to go down further, it's more of the holistic, like health and mental health as well as physical health benefits of sleep, and just really emphasize the importance and grow that awareness, which it sort of helping have a healthier lifestyle is the reason why you have a good bed. And it's sort of really honing in on that, and that's something that we want to do. We don't want to be portrayed as just a bed retailer. We want to be sort of the purveyor of a better sort of lifestyle. And yeah, I mean, I'm probably picking holes in terms of what is sort of on the MBF website, because I think a lot of the content's excellent and really informative, and definitely I can see it being beneficial for consumers. But certainly a little bit more about the health benefits, I think would certainly just round it all off.
And talking about sleep, obviously, for many years, obviously, we had the Sleep Council as part of the National Bed Federation, which was really the sort of consumer education arm on everything to do with sleep. And obviously, last July, the Sleep Council then merged with an organisation called the Sleep Charity. So it's no longer part of the MBF, although we still have a vested interest in it as a corporate donor for the next few years. And Jessica Alexander, our chief exec, sits on the advisory panel for the Sleep Charity. So everybody's talking about sleep, as you say, nowadays. So I think you're right. I think, the holistic approach, there's so much information out there on sleep. And I think certainly I would urge anybody listening to this to visit the sleepcharity.org.uk website. It's, there's lots of information and help that they can provide for a business, for businesses out there. Okay.
Certainly.
Just turning to consumers then. So hate to bring this up, but obviously consumer complaints is an issue that we all get involved with. The MBF sadly gets some consumer complaints once they get to the end of their tether, that they can't sort things out. They ring us. One of the most common things I think that we get contacted by consumers at the MBF is this the issue of settlement, settlement on mattresses. And I often think that consumers sometimes just have an unrealistic expectation on how their mattress should perform.
Yeah.
I mean, what's your sort of take on the issue of settlement and what we can do as an industry to try and manage these expectations?
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of the most common issue that we come across, isn't it? I do think that for us personally, we're a lot more careful with the sort of products that we choose for our shop floors. But I think, the information that's given from the point of sale, although it's sort of quite difficult because you don't want to give sort of negative connotations and put someone off. I think, establishing the fact that it's a perfectly natural, normal behavior for a naturally filled mattress, and try and turn it into a positive. Obviously, having reversible mattresses, that's the talking point there. That the importance of turning regularly to sort of minimise settlement. But we also reinforce that information from the delivery stage as well. So our delivery teams are excellent in just reminding the sort of importance of caring for your mattress properly when it's actually delivered, and reminding them of that. I noticed that some manufacturers, I think Harrison Spinks for a while now, have a little tag on their mattresses to say, explain about body impressions and that it is normal, a normal occurrence. I think it's still, the cure's never gonna be one sort of fixed answer, but I think just by giving the correct information can at the right points can certainly help that. And I think manufacturers are addressing the problems that, particularly the products that were causing the worst settlement, were sort of have been replaced with better ones. We don't think it's as a profound problem as it has been in the past. So there's certainly progress being made.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think technology and developments in some of the filling materials now is compared to the last. I've been in the industry like nearly 40 years. The development on the technology and fillings is just remarkable over the last few years. So hopefully it's
absolutely.
As you say, we're never going to get rid of it, but hopefully we can reduce the number of complaints on that. So you mentioned something earlier. You mentioned something earlier about sort of mattress and bed collection that you offer, and thinking about everything green, sustainable, etc. The MBF has just published our eco design principles guidelines which is available for anyone to look at actually on the MBF website. In the MBF Green section of the MBF website, it's worth having a look. There's obviously greater demand now from consumers about everything green and what have you. I wonder do you see any sort of challenges, opportunities that the sort of sustainability agenda brings for retailers of mattresses and beds?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of challenges, the biggest challenge for us, we want to, sustainability is certainly, at the forefront of our minds, and particularly with the old bed recycling, we want to minimize or just eliminate what goes to landfill. Luckily, we've got some really reputable mattress recycling companies in like local to us. What we've had to do, because of the sheer volume of old beds we were taking away, we had to invest in some old shipping containers for storage to keep them dry, because they won't accept them if they're soaking wet. And there's a lot of wet weather up in this part of the country, so so that's been one of the challenges, but we managed it really, really well. It's still one of consider USP for why a lot of customers choose to deal with us. Obviously, getting rid of an old bed is an inconvenience, but customers are asking what happens to it, in terms of the process. So we're able to give more informative answers now, and we're sort of quite proud that the way that we conduct our waste management. In terms of opportunities, we're dealing with some manufacturers like Harrison, Hypnos, Vice Sprinkle, 100% recyclable products. Harrison Spink's going chemical and glue free recently with their new range, so it's another really good touch point. It's something that more and more customers are really interested in, as our sales team as well. And I think I think a few manufacturers touched on the mattresses made with recycled materials as well, which I think is something that's going to grow in the future and definitely becoming an attractive product to start pushing. So yeah, we're sort of moving in accordance with with how things are flowing. We eventually we want to get electric vehicles for our deliveries. That's certainly on the agenda. That was a conversation I had with my dad not long ago, actually. Solar panel stores is also something else that we've discussed. So yeah, there's plenty of opportunity to really be a business, particularly in the community, that shows that being greener and sustainable is something we really care about.
And I think that's the way ahead. And I think consumers, and I think all these things are probably, if you like, the demand is led by consumers. And I think the retailers that are seen to react the quickest and be seen to have a proper sustainability program in place. I think consumers are going to be happy to shop at that particular retailer if they know, particularly on beds, that fine, you're collecting their bed, but you're not just then collecting it and chucking it in landfill. If you're collecting it and then it's going off to a proper recycling plant, then obviously I think more consumers are looking for that. So that's good. I'm aware of time. I just wanted to, just before we finish, just move on to ask you about the bed show. I mean, we're now in the early stages of planning the return of the bed show in September, on 21st and 22nd of September at Telford again. Obviously, we're hoping to come back with a real bang this year, having had to miss out on last year's exhibition, sadly. And it could actually be one of the first major UK furniture exhibitions held, I think, in September, which is great. I hope you're planning on coming to see the show this year, James.
Yeah, absolutely.
You are planning?
Yeah,
Okay, that's good. Just say yes. Yes, Simon. That's great. So
certainly.
So, as a retailer visiting the bed show, I'll just ask you, what do you most look forward to, and what you're looking? What would you like to see this year from your suppliers when you go?
I think it'd just be nice to see people and see. Yeah, I mean, we always look forward to it. I think it's a great industry sort of event. From seeing your, the suppliers that we deal with, and our account managers all under one roof, and also our competitors have got good relationships with some of them, and especially after the year we've had, it will certainly be really good to catch up. In terms of things we want to see, there's always something a little bit different. It's great to see new product ranges and innovations. We very much look forward to that, and it's just there's always something that you can add value to your business. So that's always something we'll be looking for. If there's any, often any new suppliers that have recently joined the MBF as well, always nice to check them out and build new relationships as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really looking forward to the show myself, and hopefully it goes ahead. Hopefully there's no hiccups in between now and then. And I've just got this sort of mental image of the show this year, that everybody's, instead of shaking hands, is just going to go around hugging each other.
Hugging, yeah. I think I'll be one of them.
Which could be a bit strange when you see blokes hugging each other, but
Yeah, particularly at the gala dinner. Yeah, I think when everyone's had a drink, but that's something else we'd look forward to as well. Hopefully, Giles Brandreth on the.
Well, yeah. Well, actually, I can say this year it's not going to be Giles Brandreth. Right, okay. We'd actually booked somebody last year that's been kind enough to roll over their contract to this year. But I better not tell you who that is at the moment. Otherwise,
no spoilers. No.
But no, we're really looking forward to seeing everybody at the Bed Show. I mean, our members and retailers and suppliers and everybody. So I really can't wait for that. James, I think our time's about up. I've really enjoyed having a chat with you, and thank you very much for that. And can I just wish you all the very best from April the 12th. I hope that when the doors open, that you're flooded with customers coming to see you.
Thank you. Yeah, no, it's been a pleasure. And I hope that the entire industry can have a really buoyant few months and get back on their feet again. And hopefully the future's bright for the bed industry.
That's great. Thanks so much, James.
Thank you, Simon.
Cheers.